What would he have made of that performance, do you think?
I think, Alan Smith was quite kind, I thought, on commentary when he said it wasn't a beautiful game. It definitely wasn't. I think he would have seen a side in Crystal Palace that were lacking a little bit of confidence, lacking a little bit of cutting edge. But I think he also would have seen a side that have quality within them. The Jordan Ayew goal was a real moment of quality. I really like Adam Wharton as a player. He will bring quality. So I think there's definitely bits and pieces in there for him to work with. I think the key thing for him now is being able to get immediate results for Crystal Palace in order to really alleviate any possible fear of getting sucked into that bottom three.
I think he will have been pleased by the work rate as well, the collective spirit they showed. It was interesting in his statement announcing his departure. Roy Hodgson did talk about the excellent group, you know, how good they've been to work with, and that gives Glasner some encouragement, I think. Obviously, Palace have big injuries at the moment, don't they, with Eze and Elise out, Gahey and Doucouré as well, arguably their four best players. So, no, not the most fluent performance perhaps, but a lot there for him to work with, I think.
Let's go to Michael, shall we? How much was there a noticeable change too?
Well, Palace fans will be Glas all over with some of what they saw last night, considering the injuries they have. Now, Paddy McCarthy said he hadn't spoken to Glasner, but the Austrian saw his preferred formation at Goodison last night. Tariq Mitchell more advanced. I know Munoz would prefer this advanced role too. Also interesting last night, Joe Anderson, Joel Ward, Chris Richards getting the ball forward as quickly as possible. So this might be something for the next few games for Crystal Palace. Of course, this is what Palace have had during the season so far. So little changes already in what is going to be an interesting few weeks ahead for Crystal Palace.
Yeah. And what are you two expecting from Glasner going forward?
I think we saw bits of it there last night. There was obviously his imprint on the team in terms of the starting formation, as Michael points out there. You know, Palace have preferred a four-at-the-back system, but Glasner will come in and change that, and it will be a three-at-the-back system. I think on paper, when you look at Crystal Palace's first choice 11, there's players within that actually might suit and quite would like to play in that formation. I like the look of Joachim Andersen being the centre of those three defenders with his aerial ability, box defending and his ability on the ball as well. I think the outside centre-backs might need a little bit of work. I think they've got quality in terms of potential wing-backs as well. And then I know you mentioned Doucouré being out injured, and he's obviously a big miss, but the two central midfielders in Wharton and Lerma, I think, will be able to carry out the jobs that Glasner will ask of them. And then in the forward areas, missing Elise and missing Eze, but if they are part of that three-pronged attack, again, with the transitional style of football that Jesse Marsh talked about on Monday Night Football that Glasner will like to bring in, you can see those players really working in this formation. So I think the manager will be really looking forward to working with this group.
Yeah, he's got great pedigree as well, doesn't he? I mean, he's coming into this job having elevated and improved every one of the previous clubs he's been at. You know, he's obviously a Europa League winner with Frankfurt. He reached the German Cup final as well during his time there. So, you know, that shows his tactical acumen, you know, that record in knockout games. So I think he's coming with great pedigree and yeah, there's a lot for him to work with. I mean, I think the style is a key point, isn't it? You know, Hodgson obviously leaves an outstanding legacy at Palace, but there is an appetite, I think, among the fans for a more proactive, more high-intensity, more attack-minded style, and that's what we should see from Glasner. I mean, it may take him some time to implement his ideas fully, given the context of, you know, the situation that they find themselves in at the moment. But no, I think we saw maybe glimpses of it last night, as Dave says, and it will be exciting to see how that comes together, because it's something that Steve Parish mentioned in the statement, isn't it? His attacking and exciting style of play. So clearly, it's a big factor in the decision to bring him to the club.
One thing, Michael, you'll want to stop is Palace conceding late goals, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. Palace fans, you've been on Monday Night Football the last few weeks, but it's been a frustrating final few minutes, hasn't it? The goals conceded, 76-plus minutes, Premier League this season. Look, it's been a disastrous season so far for Sheffield United. They're on 19, but there's concerns there. Crystal Palace, another late goal conceded last night. As I mentioned, the two conceded against Chelsea as well last week. Chelsea, I've just mentioned, they're on 14, and Burnley, of course, they're struggling at the bottom as well. So that is something Glasner has to put right for Palace.
Yeah, and what's it looking like for them over the next few weeks? Because he'll want to hit the ground running here,
Yeah, absolutely. Like no European football, obviously, for Palace. No domestic cup games. So here's the next 6 games. Where they are. Doesn't this look like a key game already? Saturday, Burnley at home. Then in a few weeks, do you know what? Glasner was at the ground on Saturday to watch Wolves beat Tottenham. So he was there. So it's Spurs against Palace on March the 2nd. Then it's another really tough game, an interesting one, Luton Town on March the 9th. Newcastle, they're at home on March the 16th. Go to Nottingham Forest, an intriguing one there on March the 30th. And then on April the 2nd, they're away to Bournemouth.
Oh, OK. I look at that. What are they, 5 points above the drop zone at the moment? Should there be any concerns for them over relegation?
I mean, yeah, I guess so, because at the moment they are, the kind of direction of travel hasn't been a good one for Crystal Palace. But, also I think you have to bear in mind that other teams around them in that relegation fight are probably going to be weaker than Crystal Palace. So I think they have to bear that in mind. But the next 2 home games for Glasner and Crystal Palace, absolutely vital.
Yeah, I mean, you look at those fixtures and you wonder maybe that played a part in Palace's thinking to make the change at this point. 3 home games out of 4 coming up, the 2 against Burnley and Luton. If you can win those games, you can really pull yourself away from danger and, put those 2 in deeper trouble. So, if they come through that sort of little run of games with points on the board, then the picture will look very, very different for them, won't it?